What's good, 2K family? Today I want to talk about NBA 2K and creating a brand new system. I'm going to call it a rating system, ranking system, a whole bunch of different things all in one, combining to create the ultimate experience for NBA 2K fans. As somebody like me who plays every year and loves to get into competitive sides, I definitely feel like if you're into 2K, you'll like this as we go deep down the rabbit hole on the new system that I think can basically take over and do the right thing. Now, I'm not a creative director, so I don't got control, and this isn't no shots at 2K. The system that they have now needs reworking, in my opinion. We could always improve, so we're gonna get into it. So without that being said, I'm gonna have some VCs and some giveaways, so make sure you leave a comment and you have a chance to win. Randomly selected people will be winners. All right, so first things first, we know our current rank system in game. It's called the performance, overall performance and things like that, and it's just a great system. You can see on the top while you're watching some of these random highlights, this was literally the first week or so or whatever. These highlights are kind of very old, last year, over 6-7 months ago. But basically on the top you'll see a grade. You start off with a C and you'll go up the ranks from there. And how do you go up the ranks? You just do basketball things. I love this, and this is an amazing feature, and it's very rewarding as far as if you're doing the right thing and you're consistent and you're putting in the work, you're going to be fine. The issue I have is that they need to implement new and different ways to really gauge this. So the first issue is making sure that this performance grade gets amplified, meaning I need more little details. Okay, if you're spacing the floor, if you're you know, cutting to the basket, if you're basically out of bounds a lot, you're, you know, spamming steal too much, or little things that we know some players do that might be irritating. You know, one of my things is clogging the paint. That should be a grade, and feel free to leave a comment of what you think should be in the grade system. All right, because we have some good stuff and we have some bad stuff. Like good contest, right? That's a good contest. And when you do something bad, if you're not contesting, then they'll also penalize you. So I do think this system should stay within the game, and it needs some upgrades and different things that are going to enhance it, in my personal opinion. And before we go on, I want to showcase just this very quick look at the actual system, and, you know, just talk about how it works when it comes to the grades. So what happens here is, as I start off in casual, I can move on up all the way into the MVP zone. This doesn't take long. You can do it in a day if you basically win some games and don't do anything foolish like get turnovers and fouls the whole game. You should be able to do this in every game if you're a decent player. If you're not that great, then I don't know what the grade will be and how this will function for you guys, but this is kind of just an example of the rating system. This is a rating system within the game. It's called performance, but overall it's a rating system. And so what I would like to do in this scenario, we have to remake this. Okay, getting a good grade doesn't mean you're always a good player. All right, there's a lot of players who can get a good grade and they're toxic. So for example, playing a center, yeah, I'll stay in the paint and just get the rebounds, force my teammates to shoot because they don't want to drive, because I'm going to be in there the whole game. Now I'm getting 10 offensive rebounds a game, another 15 in the defensive side, and I'm sitting there with an A+ every game, and I'm MVP. And the game is abused, and I'm still a bad player for doing that. I'm not setting any picks at the top of the key. I'm not spacing out the floor, you know, spotting up in a corner or something as a center. That is toxic, and that needs to leave the game. When I say that wasn't me. I don't do that stuff, but the people who do can get away with it and end up MVP. And the same concept goes for point guards who lose every game, but they never pass the ball, and they basically score 30-40 points, and they're like, hey man, I'm doing my thing. It's like, well, actually you're not playing defense, you're not passing the ball to an open man, so all those 10 misses out of your 25-30 are going to cost the win because you had open threes and you ended up jacking up a couple bad shots when you could have got more makes. And this happens all the time. There's a lot of egos in the rec. For example, I play in random rec. I have a video about it. 200 games this year, and the study shows, my personal study, my own sanity, by the way, basically dudes think that they nice even when they're bad, and they're doing things that are just toxic for the community. You know, if I shoot 40%, right, and I shoot 30 shots, if I miss, 15 of those, right, a little over 15, guess what? I could have passed the ball a little more and maybe got more looks for my teammates wide open ends, and then we would have probably won the game. And that happens as well. And this system is because of the grade system. And I'm not here trying to say the grade system has to go, guys. I'm not one of those guys that think everything got to be ripped apart. I wouldn't mind if they pay me to remake this. I'm gonna remake it. But let's go back into my highlights and talk about it. Like, I'm not the best player. I can space the floor for you. When I'm on point guard, I'm making the plays, I'm doing my best, I can do great, right? But if I'm just any other role player, I'm spacing the floor and I'm just standing in the corner, and it sucks because sometimes like, okay, I'm the center, I don't want to be in the paint the whole time, let me let them get some buckets, I could shoot the three, but you never get the ball. And so you should get rewarded for just being open, right? So now all of a sudden, if you're open half the game, you're not going to get a bad grade. You can't get a bad grade because you're open, and it makes your teammates get bad grades for not passing to the open guy. So you're tracking that at all times. It's like, oh wow, there's an open player. And of course you're going to say, how can the game track that? Listen, man, we got enough money, billion-dollar corporation for 2K. We're making them trillions of dollars. Whatever amount of money is being made by 2K. I don't pocket watch, but this is just a concept of the little details that I would want added into this rating system. I'm not going to call it the performance anymore because we're going to rate every single aspect that you do. Get back on defense, man. What are you doing, bro? And then of course I want to note, like, for example, in these 1-on-1s, 2-on-2s, there's different logic, and 2K has to know that. You can't put the same logic in the game. For 1s and 2s and 3s, the rating has to be different. Excuse me. The rating has to be different. You have to take into account there's no passing. You got to take into account to all that. And so they already kind of worked on getting people rep and getting their grades okay. But you're going to add all these new elements and take into account each game mode. When I play Combat, we just did not make it for the $15,000 that game, that $15,000 tournament. I'm pretty sad about it. But the point is, in those events, those are totally different than me just playing in the rec and chilling. So there's got to be a rating system for each of these modes, and a good system that can function for everybody. And these ideas that I'm sharing are some of them that I think can work, and how we can benefit from it. And now the second part of this, again, this is a big video when it comes to me breaking down some of my thoughts. You're watching the stat line of 2025. This is me playing only rec games, and this is my experience. I did a lot of turnovers and got a bunch of fouls, right? My field goal is at 50. That's not good. My win percentage is embarrassing at 42. Okay. Playing in random rec the whole year and only played like 10 games with my cousin, who isn't the best player either, but he plays. And this is what I got. All right. I played a lot of center at times, and then I played a lot of point guard. It's like a blend between point guard and center, back and forth. All right. When I'm in the center, I'm not missing. I'm in the corner and I'm just shooting. I'm doing all right. As my point guard, if I'm getting double teamed and dudes is not getting open, they're standing next to each other, there's a lot of stuff that comes into play. So my turnovers aren't always my fault. I have no option. I'm about to get blitzed. Things are going bad. I'm getting double teamed, whatever's going on, and the dudes are standing next to each other. So the other defender's ready to steal the ball. And this happens, like, not all the time, but this type of thing happens where they're selling you in those type of scenarios. Like, why y'all stand? There's a whole court and y'all standing next to each other. It's ridiculous. And so these type of things happen, and like I said earlier, as a center, when I'm doing my random rec and I'm in the center position, I'm spotting up in that corner, I'm wide open, and let's say in the first quarter I hit 2 threes. I don't get the ball until the fourth maybe, and I'm wide open for 3 quarters. Nobody's passing. I showed them that I could shoot. I made 2 shots, and then I won't get the ball for the 3 for the rest of the game. You understand? And it's not like we're up by a lot. Sometimes it's like, hey, we got to win. Let's get these shots in. It's one thing if we're up by a lot. I actually don't care what happens at the end of the day, because it's like, yo, y'all just play, man. Have fun. It ain't that deep. That's how I look at it. But dudes be selling, and the game doesn't have any type of logic to track this and to go forward. And for example, this is the biggest tracker that I want to kind of talk about, why I want to change the rating. You see my win percentage? Guess what? Unfortunately, on this account, and not my comp account, on this account, put me in with 40 or below. All right, that's it. I was like, we're gonna, when it comes to official modes, now if we're talking about the park and we're talking about rec, throw me in with whoever. But if you see I got very low 3-pointers, very low, you know, win percentage or whatever, I should be rated in that. When it comes to the competitive modes, you have to put me in with the people that I am aligned with in those competitive modes. I do think that that's necessary, and then it creates very good competitive modes. When I'm talking about Proving Grounds, for example, Proving Ground has their own system, and I actually love Proving Grounds. I didn't like the way the system was fully developed this year, and I wish they did better. But even Proving Grounds, you know, that's something that I think would be phenomenal. And yeah, so I want to talk about Proving Grounds as well, kind of go into that conversation. You know, again, there's no wrong answers here, and I'm not here to like turn this into something that is not. All right. But when you see Proving Grounds right here, I did not play much this year. This is the end of the year, so it don't matter. But you can see right here, this system is rating you on a couple of different things, and you should be looking into how this works. There was a glitch with people quitting games so that they won't get charged, but their percentage was low, but they were still high in the rankings. And this is where this percentages and the ratings also play a role in your overall experience. If you're playing rec, you're playing other stuff, none of this matters, by the way. But on these kind of modes, this should matter, and this should play a deep understanding of the game overall. You know what I mean? So just kind of like take it for what it is and not overthink it. But in my opinion, this ranking system also should tie in to all of the rest, and then turn it into like, okay, these are the competitive top players. And this year they're putting leaderboards on every mode. I want to cry because I told them this years ago. I said, we should have leaderboards on every mode. People are going to get hyped and want to play every day. It's a good feature. It's not a big deal, but I know some people are going to chase that and try to be #1 overall. And they put it into the game. So I actually can't complain about it. And I'm excited, and I love it. And so for me, you know, take a look and see what they can do and change and go forward. You know, as far as like rep is separate. Rep is its own thing. So I don't think this should even play a role at all in the game when it comes to this rating system that I'm trying to make up and create. You know, Proving Ground can also be a part of it. And the ultimate goal is to look at your overall stats performances in these competitive modes, and then put you in with that same group as much as possible. Now you're gonna say, and something that everybody's gonna say is, bro, you can't find a match once you're high level. Well, guess what? Every game I've ever played does that. Every game, whether in the rank mode, once you're like the top 100 player, it's gonna be hard to find a top 100 player. So they do take a little more time to matchmake. And what I always said is, drop it down 1 rank, right? Whether you want to make this a tier system, right? Bronze, silver, gold, all that stuff. Okay, drop it down 1 rank. And let them match make with those people. Unfortunately, those people might get cooked, but guess what? Some of those people are moving up the ranks and might get a chance to win. And this is what leads me to my last point, and what I think should be also implemented. Sometimes I'll go into the rec or proving grounds with one friend, and it's somebody who doesn't even know, who literally doesn't even know all the buttons yet. It was a friend of mine, and I'm like, hey man, I'll show you the game. And he's like, come on, let's go to this thing, proving. I'm like, no, I don't want to go to proving grounds. But we go in there, and it's just me and him, and then there's 3 other random guys that don't know each other. Nobody's on the mic except me and him, and he don't know what he's doing. And they got us against dudes playing 5 out, or pick and roll on offense, plus they playing zone defense, they're full court press, they're doing all types of stuff, and that ranking system is not okay. And this is where like some of those problems come in my personal opinion, that could be improved and worked on when you're in the competitive modes. So okay, yeah, I'm by myself, right? Don't put me in with these groups all the time. If you can put me in with randoms, and I don't know if 2K does this officially, but in any of those modes, if you can get match made with people who are also in randoms squads and not full 5 stacks, right? And it's like, okay, let's do that. But that's just some of my thoughts on what I think could be implemented when it comes to a new ranking overall system. This is kind of like just the semi-concept. I had a whole thing that I broke down a couple years ago on my stream with this, and now I added more to it, but I don't want to go through every single thing to kind of bore you out to death. It's more to just share the general concept. I want the community to tell me what y'all think. I know that the developers could use a revamp and take it to the next level in the future. But having to play, and this is the last one by the way, having to play against tougher random players. The point I was trying to make was, if I'm playing against a high level team and it's just me and a bunch of scrubs, and if we win, I want to get double everything, like as far as the ratings go, and boosting me up. So basically you can go up and down the ratings just like you do in the current performance mode, but it's going to be based off of the opponents you face also. The harder opponent you beat, the more you get, that type of thing. That was what I was trying to mention when I said I went into these proving grounds against top tier players and I had some bums on my team, and then you carry them and you get that ranking also. So doing it like that. But yeah, feel free to leave a comment. See y'all on the next one. Y'all know what it is. Peace.